This match day picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with a new Pick 8. Sign up with our code PLGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the Euro 2024 Gambling Podcast, maybe, on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is, let's have a look, Monday, June the 17th. We are here to review the opening weekend of the Euros, which has been fun. And I didn't even know what you might have noticed. I said match day picks at the top of the show. I don't know what we're calling this. Anyway, we're picking the games from Tuesday to Thursday. So that's what we're doing tonight. Joining us back from his travels is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Bazza, how you doing?
Evening. I'm all right. A little bit tired, struggling a little bit. I mean, I started with a 6 o'clock flight Friday morning, 6 a.m. Which meant leaving the house at around about 3 a.m. on Friday. Friday night was a late one. Saturday night was a 3 o'clock in the morning finish. And then to this morning, a 6 a.m. flight, which meant leaving the hotel at 4 a.m. So lots of early starts and late finishes. I'm absolutely worn out by it all, but I had a thoroughly good time.
Yes. We need to know. Yeah, I think we'll concentrate on Poland first, Baz. We'll discuss this. You left us with the tantalising prospect of you going to that restaurant where the fella asks what you wanted to eat for your dinner and then cooks your dinner. Austin was first in the chat. It's the first thing he asked us about. You sent us a few photos, didn't you? You put a few photos up on the socials. So what was the crack with that?
It was absolutely outstanding. One of the best culinary experiences of my life in terms of the amount of food we got through. Like, we sat down at 6 o'clock, glass of wine, chef comes over, has a chat, and we were quite laid back about it. We didn't give him like the whole, oh, we want this, 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 and this. I just said, look, it's all about the meat for me, meat and fish. No coffee, no bananas, but otherwise, just give me the best stuff you can give me. So we just left it to the chefs, really, to do what they wanted. And the way it worked was like, literally, they just bring you a dish, talk you through it, ask how you liked it, and asked if you wanted more. And every time he asked if we wanted more, it was just like, yes, more. And I think we got through 11 courses in the end, Mark, and we had fillet of beef, we had pork cheeks, Iberico pork, duck, scallops, belly pork, just everything, but like all the best ingredients you could get, loads of wine. And at no point did anybody ever say, well, this dish will be this much, this dish will be that. There's no menu. You've got no idea how much money you spent on this whole thing. So we sat and enjoyed every bit of it. So we got through about 7 courses. And he said, is there anything, we haven't done that you feel like you would have liked? And Helen was straight away like, I love scallops. You haven't done us any scallops. And he was like, right, we'll do you a scallop dish. So he cooked up this nice scallops with morel mushrooms and this mushroom sauce. Dead simple, but really lovely scallops. So we had that, and then that was us sort of finished with our savoury dishes. And they'd done us like 3 desserts to share to finish off with, 11 courses and copious amounts of wine. And I had a figure in my mind as to what I thought the price would be. And I was expecting to be very, very expensive. And it turned out to be half the price I expected. It was expensive still, but nowhere near what you would pay. Considering what sort of, in here you would call it the chef's table, where you're literally sat at a bench overlooking the kitchen. You can see everything that's going on, and the chefs are talking to you while they're preparing your dish. It was great. great experience, and the food was outstanding. Like,
Wow. How much was it then, Baz? Spill the beans.
cost us less than 200 quid for the two
Oh,
of
mate,
us.
that's all right, isn't it?
I was thinking close to £400. I mean, I've been to Michelin star places in the UK where we've spent over 500, 600 quid on less quality than we got there. And the amount of wine, I was thinking we'd spend about 100 quid just on wine, to be honest. So it was the value for what we got, I thought was absolutely amazing. Like,
I've spent that fucking going to watch Newcastle in the League Cup on a Tuesday night. Once I've taken a shortcut through Asper's Casino, you can very easily be 200 quid down. Oh, well, we've got some live football in action. Halfway through, I did scream chants like a girl halfway through you talking there, Bas, because Austria missed an absolute sitter. And then, in fact, in a little nutshell of how my weekend's gone, not 2 minutes later, Austria have now scored an own goal to put France 1-0 up. So, yeah, the football we'll talk about. I'll tell you what, let's say hello to all these. There's some right piss takers in the chat. Now, they're getting far too comfortable, Baz. We need to, I need to start issuing a few fines or something. But Austin was first in the chat. Harry, Zane, Lee, Cree, everyone, Ryman, Callum, how you doing? Dan as well. Nice to see everybody. Yeah, the football's been quite good. Enjoyed it. Been lots of good games. There's been no shit games, really. James joins us from Toronto. How you doing? Been no shit games. We took a lot of underdogs with chances. And we took a lot of what's like unders cagey. We kind of handicapped it as cagey, and very quickly that became quite apparent. The first couple of days weren't. But my picks have been an absolute shit show. I couldn't pick. I haven't got a single one right, Baz. But it's just been an anatomy of all different kinds of ways to lose. To the point today, I think even you started feeling a little bit sorry for me. Normally, you see, you don't normally just get that face off you.
The bit that got me today was when he lost via a snickometer. The first time I've ever seen the snickometer in the football to determine the handball. They had the little wavelengths coming out as well. You said you didn't see it? You listened on the radio?
I haven't seen Snickle in action yet. I just know that it absolutely bummed me quite hard.
And it was a terrible decision, that one as well, I thought. It was a handball in the build-up to the Lukaku goal. You know, not the only Lukaku goal disallowed. But what annoyed me about it, because I had Lukaku, you had both teams to score, that would have settled for both of us. But if you looked at the clip, it was a 10-second phase of play where two of them are battling for the ball and hands are all over the place and the hand clips the ball. But there's no way deliberate. And what the clip they show the referee is a slowed down 1 second shot of the hand just touching the ball like that again and again. And that's all you get. But if you look at the full 10 seconds, the hands are just
all he needed, though. Because if it's touched his hand, you've got to disallow the goal. So that's all he's trying to establish.
No, it wasn't. It was the player who set up the goal.
Right, okay.
It wasn't the goal scorer, so therefore, changes has got to be deliberate. So it wasn't the case of it's touched his hand, he scores the goal. It was, can't even remember who it was now, out on the wing who puts the ball in for Lukaku. So yeah, it was harsh, very, very harsh. Wasn't happy with that one at all. But yeah, as you say, you've conspired to lose in a whole lot of different ways. I've actually done all right. I'm currently looking at about 5-5 if France can get another goal. And my ACCA is just waiting for France. I had Germany handicap, England, Italy, France was my my accumulator at around about 5-1 as well. So that'll put me in a nice profit if France can hold on tonight. I do need them to get a second. I've got them in the Asian handicap was my pick here. But I've done all right. I had Germany in the handicap. Slovenia double chance was a good one. I think they were unlucky not to win it. Austin just put that in the chat. I'm trying to think what else. I had Netherlands to score 2 or more. That done you in. I think that was your 1-1 of the week, was it?
No, it wasn't, but I had the under.
You had the under, yeah. So the late Netherlands goal worked for me. It didn't for you. And then Romania. I took Romania. Again, double chance. The double chances have worked for me. Having that little bit of insurance. Where I've liked the underdog, but not strong enough to sort of take them outright. And it's worked. Slovenia and Romania. Obviously, Romania, I could have been bolder and took a nice priced winner. But yeah, overall, I'm currently 4 winners out of 9. 5 if France can get something tonight. 5 out of 10 will be all right. And as I say, if the ACCA hits, it's been a good first round of games for me. And yeah, I haven't watched a ton of it because I've been busy all weekend. I've seen bits and pieces. I watched a lot of the Spain game. I watched the England game. Other than that, not watched a ton, bits and pieces. But looking forward to. I've sat and watched both of the games today and the first half of the France game there. So yeah, now looking forward to getting right stuck into it now.
Yeah, definitely. Like we did say about sort of pivoting towards trends, and after that first day, then both teams to score overs was what you would have gone for because the games weren't remotely cagey. There's been goals in the first half of every single game as well, I think.
Yeah.
But I just haven't been able to catch any kind of break whatsoever. I messaged him on Saturday night when I'd missed the first 3. I was like, let's get a nice fucking cagey one, Italy, Albania here. 23 seconds that lasted, goal. I was like, how am I? Leave it out.
I had Italy win to 0, 23 seconds. I was a loser in that as well. So yeah, we had some absolutely calamitous losses.
Late goal for the Dutch done me in. Goalkeeping mistakes for Romania today. And even, what was the other one? Something horrible. No, I took the draw, Slovenia, Denmark, but I took half-time draw. And it finished a draw. But there was a goal in each half, so I couldn't hit that.
Just to say you messaged me, so you had both teams to score this afternoon. Slovakia go ahead early on. Belgium are the big favourites. It's a perfect scenario. Both teams to score looks nailed on. You messaged me after 15 minutes and went, let's just watch Lukaku miss chance after chance after chance. And sure enough, for the next 75 minutes, that's exactly what Lukaku did, although he did score twice.
Twice. He just didn't count. Anyway, we'll put that behind us. It hasn't affected the outright, Spaz. That's the thing I'm taking. All the group stage stuff and the outright stuff. It hasn't really affected. I'm still live in all of them. Denmark not to qualify was a nice price, and that's the one that took a little bit of a boost because they're in bother now. I need to point out, Baz, Dan 08 here is it's Bob's coach from the Saturday team at Benfield. That's Andy. Dan's his son. So keep reminding me not to slag him off anymore. I'm certainly haven't slagged him off in the past. That's the other coach that I slag off. Andy's a fine, upstanding gentleman and an excellent coach. So we'll leave that there. Jurgen Klopp, our favourite listener name, is in there as well. Landon Donovan, he's the American Messi, isn't he, Landon Donovan? He's doing the commentating and apparently not a very good job. I did want to mention one commentator, and I wanted to put him on the tit list, and then I checked the tit list, and he's already on the tit list, and it's Rio Ferdinand, because what a fucking idiot he is. The problem I've got with him is he's thick as fuck. Now, I've got no problem with people being thick, but be thick and work in Tesco's. That's fine. Be thick and do anything you want, you know. Just don't be thick and be on the telly in my house. You've got no business being on the telly in my house. Honestly, the bloke's an absolute disgrace. He went full roadman the other night. Was it the England game? Absolutely pathetic. So I got the tit list out, but he's already on there. I couldn't remember who was on there, Baz. I bet you couldn't name more than 3 of them that were on there.
Enough, he crossed my mind because the Champions League. Did you see the clip from the Champions League where?
No, yes, yeah.
Vinicius Junior's going through,
Ballon d'Or.
and he's just saying Ballon d'Or, Ballon d'Or, Ballon d'Or. Oh, Vinicius has just won the Ballon d'Or, and all he just kept saying was Ballon d'Or. And it just the sort of shit crack you'd have with your mates, but not as a professional commentator on the telly. It's terrible. It's awful. Constantly.
Well, there was a bit of a conversation about it because someone had put underneath, obviously, I think a British fan, who put, I'm 45-year-old, never once had a conversation about the Ballon d'Or with anybody. And then you get people underneath, and I think it's, no offense, maybe Americans, or you get all these sort of Saudi, Qatari, sort of Indian, people, global supporters who support differently to the way we do, and it is a big deal for them. But it's just not. And I've never had a conversation about the Ballon d'Or ever. No, certainly not. Yeah, I know you wouldn't have done, and I know Simmers and Tiger and Terza and anyone's just not a thing. Like, so yeah, I didn't understand that even a little bit. Right then, Baz. We need to make some picks here. I'm full of confidence, Baz. What I've done is I've learned, I've developed, I've shown growth and from these early games. I'm going to turn it round. I'm absolutely going to turn it round. What we'll do is talk first about. Oh, I'll tell you what Andy just told me. I've just seen him at football in the piss and rain, picking the bands up. All our adverts are in German, Baz, in Germany. He went to he's been to Croatia v Spain at the weekend. He's had a bit of a jolly up at the Euros. And thought he put the wrong podcast on because we started all in German. So, guten Tag to all of our German friends and your German advert. That's good, isn't it? We need more. We need examples of those in all the other languages. If that fella from Nepal who listened all the way through the World Cup, we need some Nepalese adverts from him. Right, okay. Underdog Fantasy, pick 8 is now live for the NBA Finals. You can create entries with up to 8 picks. And Underdog will automatically double flex entries so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win. More picks to make and extra ways to win. The excitement is higher than ever. You can win up to 325 times your original amount. You can use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. Sign up with our show code, which is PLGP, to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. Okay, so we start. There's 4 games that finish match day 1. Sorry, there's 2 games, 4 teams we haven't seen finish match day 1, which we probably should have done last week, but we didn't. So we'll start tomorrow, 5 o'clock, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Turkey taking on Georgia. Turkey 7-10, minus 142. The draw 13-5, plus 260, and Georgia 17-4, plus 425. Stuck a bit here because Georgia were one of my big fades, or our really big fade in terms of scoring goals, in terms of being able to qualify, in terms of being able to compete, really. But I also feel like we've reached the point, Baz, in games. We did this in the Premier League a lot. Say it was Palace v Wolves or some shit like that. When the over 2.5 was the plus money, odds against, we started taking it regularly and it kept hitting. And this tournament's kind of gone the same way. But saying that, I couldn't pull the trigger. The over 2.5's 11-10, I think. But I just couldn't do it, Baz. The only way I would have pivoted here was unless today's games kind of all flew over, and they didn't. Obviously, Romania did, but then Belgian game fell into a little bit of the trap that we thought a lot of them might. So I've got 2 options at similar prices here, which is Turkey to win, 7-10, or the under 2.5. So I do trust Georgia not to get involved in a shootout more than I trust Turkey to win. So I'm going to go with the under 2.5. You can tell I'm running scared here, Baz, because I'm starting with a really short one. Just get something on the board. Harry in the chat might very well have nailed it here. Under 2.5's 13-18. But I don't mind the under 1.5, Baz. Turkey might nick it 1-0, which is what Harry's just said. That's plus 220. But yeah, the main play, not big or clever, is under 2.5, round about 4 to 6, Baz.
Yeah, under 1.5's not hitting. You can have your under 2.5, but I'm sticking with Turkey here. We talked down Georgia, as you say, in the group previews, and I think it is just a step too far. You look at their qualification; they got here by winning the 4th tier of the Nations League, followed by a win over Luxembourg, and then a draw and a penalties victory over Greece. It's just a much bigger challenge now, a big step up, and I think it will prove too much for them. Turkey qualified from a decent group. They finished ahead of Croatia. Wales finished back in 3rd in that group. And the 0-0 draw, I'm not sure about the unders in this one. The 0-0 draw that Georgia had against Greece just looks like an outlier in terms of goals in Georgia games. That's the only game in 16 where they haven't been at least a couple of goals in a game involving Georgia. So the over 1.5, I think... Sorry, the under 1.5 I don't like at all. And you'll see why in a minute. I like Turkey. I like Turkey to win. They're a little bit short, so I've tagged on the over 1.5 to get us to a plus money price. So I've got Turkey and over 1.5 goals at 6-5. I think Turkey will win. I think they'll get at least a couple of goals doing so. 2-0 win. We can all cash something. But yeah, the pick for me, Turkey and over 1.5 goals at 6-5 plus 120.
I ain't got those stats about Georgia, Baz. My handicap on them was just an eye test from watching those games. They just didn't look good enough to be able to get involved in a shootout.
I'm not saying they will. I think Turkey will get a couple though.
Yeah.
I just think Turkey will win, keep them at arm's length and win comfortable enough. I don't think it'll be a shootout. I think a 2-0 or something might be the score. But yeah, I think Turkey another 1.5 at a plus money price is decent enough for me.
There's no early game tomorrow either. No 2:00 game. That is dog shit. The last game of the match day one in the group stage is 8:00 tomorrow night, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Portugal against Czechia, Czech Republic, whatever you want. Portugal 1-2 minus 200. Draw 7-2 plus 350. Czechia are 11-2 plus 550. Baz.
Do we not just decide we just call them the Czech Republic, Malcolm, instead of Czechia?
Well, maybe that's why I've lost everything. I've got to change a lot of stuff, Baz. We've got to turn this round. We can't take any risks at this point.
I mean, we said the other day the Czech Republic is what they're called on every betting site, so I'm calling them the Czech Republic. I don't like Czechia. Doesn't work for me. Anyway, Portugal, a little bit shorter than I would have liked. Yeah, I thought the Czechs are probably the most competitive game for them in this group. And the Czechs have got enough about them to make a bit of a go of it. I think the Czechs can get on the score sheet here. I didn't really want Portugal in the handicaps. I mean, I don't give too much weight to the friendlies, but if you look at Portugal's recent ones, they've had 5 friendlies since March and conceded twice in 4 of those 5 games. Finland, Croatia, Slovenia, and Sweden all scored 2 or more against Portugal. As I say, it's a different matter when you come into competitive stuff, but the Czechs have scored 16 in their last 5 games. So they have been full of goals, albeit again against poor opposition. So you've got to sort of balance it out a little bit. But there's enough in both form lines to suggest both teams can play their part here. I thought both teams to score was tempting at 5-6. I think the Czechs can definitely get on the score sheet. But I've gone a little bit safe. That's a short price one for me as well. Just trying to sort of feel my way into it a little bit. But the over 2.5 I like rather than both teams to score, because that just gives us that cover if Portugal do go and run up a score, because I have been quite big on Portugal. I fancy them to do really well in this tournament. So the over 2.5 at 8-11. Seen plenty of goals so far. I think this game could have them 2-1 Portugal, something like that. 3-1 Portugal maybe, but Czechs will get on a score sheet. Portugal v Czech over 2.5 at 8-11.
Okay, I'm kind of flying in the face of what you said there, and a couple of the people in the chat, Austin notably, wants the Czechs on the Asian handicap. A Pepe card at 100-30 put up by Alex Cordero might be a good play as well. We did like Portugal coming in, Baz. I've got them a little bit about right. We've got them to be the highest team. Even when Germany scored 5, that sort of knackered up a little bit the highest group bets, the highest group scoring, and the team scoring. Portugal have to go some to catch up here. But Czechia do have a good record of scoring. Like I say, they've only got 1 blank in 10 games. You've just made their case quite well. Portugal are not keeping many clean sheets in the friendlies, although they did in qualifying. So I had loads of options here, Baz. And just picking the right one. Again, I was playing with the fear. Portugal to win in both teams to score is 9-4 plus 225. You could just take both teams to score 5-6. The Portugal handicap I quite liked, but I'd put a line through. And I did think if the Portugal handicap hits, it means Portugal score 3 goals. Because we think the Czech Republic will score a goal. The Portugal team total over 2.5 is 7-4. I'm going to go with Portugal to win and both teams to score, Baz. I think Portugal can outgun them. They've got loads of weapons. I mean, 6, 7, 8 weapons going forward, top class. But like you say, that goal record's hard to ignore. So Portugal with both teams to score is 9-4 plus 225. Third game on the card here is the early game on Wednesday, which is, let's find my list. Oh, come on. Matches, there it is. 2:00, which is 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Croatia taking on Albania. Croatia 9-20, -220 true. The draw is Burlington Birdie 100-30 plus 333. In Albania 13-2 plus 650. I thought Croatia were a bit unlucky to lose 3-0. I thought that scoreline wasn't particularly fair because they just began to get on top in the game a little bit. It kind of ebbed and flowed, and they'd had a good little 10 minutes, and then they conceded, and then somehow it was 3-0 at half time. They then conspired to miss a penalty at the end. Albania were gifted an early goal, but then were very quickly behind. And you would have thought if Albania were going to be competitive, it would be in a game where they were allowed to park the bus. And they were gifted that opportunity. Against Italy, we didn't think would be brilliant. Say, right, there you go. There's a 1-0 lead after 20 seconds. Park the bus. They couldn't park the 20 minutes later. They were 2-1 down. Never really looked like getting into it. Croatia need a win here. So I took a bet that gives us a couple of possible outcomes. I've taken the over 2.5 goals, Baz. It evens because it gives us a couple of ways to win. Either Albania get on the score sheet and Croatia could do it 2-1, or Croatia might just be good enough to go and beat them 3-0. I didn't think Croatia played badly. I thought they were unlucky 3-0 losers. So a couple of options with the over 2.5 goals, even money, Baz.
Right. I've gone a different direction entirely. I kept this one really simple. Both teams are solid defensively, or generally they are. Obviously, Croatia weren't the other day. But in qualifying, both saw 6 of their 8 games go under 2.5 goals. Both conceded just 4 goals in their 8 games in qualifying. And whilst both were involved in an over 2.5 in the first round of games, I just see this one being a little bit tighter. They're both good defensive teams. And I think the under 2.5 is the way to go. I'm on an under 2.5 goals between Croatia and Albania at 4-5, -125.
So I've given the over, you've given the under. It's no use, Baz, is it?
People know what to do in that situation, Malcolm. I think we've established that. I did see the comment. I know you've been working hard on the YouTube shorts, unfortunately.
Fucking hell.
I noticed the comment the other day from someone who said he only tunes in for Baz's picks anyway. So we know that people are only going to go one way when we are on opposite sides of it. I will try and get involved in the shorts. I noticed you didn't put one out today. I don't know if fatigue had hit in or you're just a little bit demoralised, but I will get to putting some shorts out over the next few days.
Tell you what kicked in today. Embarrassment, Baz. I couldn't fucking show me face on the internet today. I don't know, every time in the garden giving those picks, having some nice interaction with the listeners. Typically, I don't know how it works. And sometimes we put them out and get next to no attraction. Other times I put them out and I messaged you on Friday. I said, Baz, I put this short out before. Bloody hundreds of people have seen this. Thousands of people, in fact. And obviously the ones that thousands of people have seen are the ones where I couldn't pick my nose like. So by Sunday morning, I was half beaten in the back garden in my dressing gown giving picks out. And then this morning I couldn't face it. I thought, fuck this. We need Barry back. Get Barry back urgently because this is going tits up. If you're betting NBA player props, you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights. It's a good sentence. Empowering bettors with smarter data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. Rhythm is great at identifying value on bench players. Rhythm was on Hauser over 5.5 points in game 4 and nailed it. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. 5 o'clock on Wednesday, 2 p.m. No, midday Eastern time is Germany taking on Hungary. Germany are 1-4, -400. The draw 21-4, plus 525. Hungary 17-2, plus 850. Baz.
Yeah, so Germany were obviously firing the other day, but Scotland were poor, and Scotland were down to 10 men for half the game. So, Germany did play well, look good. Definitely an uptick for them. But I just think, although Hungary disappointed against Switzerland, they'll pose more of a challenge for Germany than Scotland did. And I think Germany at 1-4 is just a little bit too tight for me. as I say, a bad result for Hungary, but I can't have Germany in the handicaps at this price. I found a pick I really liked, and it's because Hungary's scoring record's good. They haven't failed to score in 12 straight games now. Germany have got 2 clean sheets in the last 16. Even Scotland, in a battering, got on the clean sheet, got on the score sheet. I really like the both teams to score here, and it's a good price, 11 to 10. Hungary will get a goal. Germany might still win it, but Hungary will get a goal, and both teams to score between Germany v Hungary at 11 to 10 is my pick here. I really like that one.
That bloke Hungary cup brought off the bench looked like you, Baz. I enjoyed that. I didn't expect that. Did you see him?
Was that the big bloke with the beard?
Yeah.
Looked like absolutely massive. As I say, I haven't watched much of the football, but I tuned into one game and just saw this big bloke at the back, like absolutely massive. I just thought, he doesn't look like a footballer. Who is this bloke? It must have been that game.
Oh, he looked like a woodsman. That's what he looked like. Fucking Callum's asking about the snails, the slugs. There was a snail trail on the living room carpet this morning, Baz. All over the place. It's been absolutely everywhere. I'm furious. So me and the Slug Pro RS will be on a stake out tonight. Don't worry about that. As soon as that bastard rears its head, I'll be taking out 10 consecutive losers right on its slimy heat.
You thought you'd won the battle in the garden, but they've just moved inside.
That's it, they've moved inside, yeah. They've come for me. We didn't learn much about Germany the other night because Scotland were cack. But they did look capable of putting average teams away, which is kind of what this Hungary team are. A bit disappointed in Hungary. We thought they might be a little bit more competitive with Switzerland. They got a goal and never really looked like pushing for an equaliser. Germany looks really good going forwards, and Hungary were vulnerable at the back. Switzerland scored 3 times. I found a nice pick, Baz. I had a little bit of a look about. This is one I used in the Premier League a lot towards the end of the season, and it worked well, which was Germany to score in both halves. They looked full of attacking talent, and it would have cashed for Germany. It would have cashed against Hungary. So the system fits. I'll take Germany to score in both halves. Next up is... I'll tell you what, this isn't really a stat, Baz. It's an interesting fact. Do you know there's a team in this tournament that are only allowed to play people from Scotland? That's mad, isn't it? And that team, they've got Steve Clark and John fucking Carver to organise it. That's incredible. Scotland take on Switzerland at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Scotland 16-5 plus 320. The draw 11-4. Plus 275, Switzerland 5-6, minus 120. Baz, go on, make a case for the sweaty socks, Baz.
I can't. I just can't. I think the Swiss are a good price. Scotland have just one win in 10 games now, and that was a 2-0 win over Gibraltar. Like, a 2-0 win doesn't even count as a win over Gibraltar, does it? Like, Gibraltar.
No, that's like losing 1-0.
You've got to win at least 4 or 5 against Gibraltar, so that doesn't even count as a win, really. But yeah, 1 win in 10 for Scotland, horrible form. And whilst they might be a bit better here than they were against Germany, I just don't see there being enough improvement for them to get a win over a Swiss side who were very good the other day. Swiss have lost just 1 of their last 15 games. Made light work of Hungary the other day. No fluke at all. They had 15 shots on goal, 7 on target, an XG of over 2.5. I think the Swiss are a great price at 5-6, but a slightly better price, which I like for me, is the team total. Swiss to score 2 or more at evens. Scots have conceded 2 or more in 8 of the last 10. The only 2 teams that didn't score 2 against them was Gibraltar and Northern Ireland, and even Northern Ireland beat them 1-0. They just didn't get the 2 goals. My pick here will be Switzerland to score 2 or more goals against Scotland at even money.
I love that, Baz. That's a little bit of an arse sniffer because I just went straight up Switzerland at 5-6. So I'll take a little bit of hit of juice. Switzerland were okay. It's kind of a tier 2 team against a tier 3 or 4 team from this tournament. I thought Fabian Schär was outstanding, by the way. There's a little bit of a Homer conversation. He was absolutely magnificent the other night. But we just saw Switzerland be considerably better than a team who were better than Scotland, in my opinion. So the 5-6, like I say, if this was a Premier League, a standard Premier League weekend, Baz, we'd both be on this. We'd both be absolutely all over it. Scotland, again, the case was last time, they'll try hard, they'll run around, they'll sing the anthem loud. Well, turns out that wasn't even nearly good enough. They've got to celebrate a goal kick after 4 minutes, and that was the absolute high spot. Even the goal was ridiculous. They never looked like scoring. Switzerland will beat them 5-6, -120. Thursday, we have the early game is Slovenia against Serbia. Slovenia are 15-4, +375. The draw 12-5, +240. And Serbia 5-6, -120. Slovenia got the draw against Denmark. The longer the game went on, the worse Denmark got. And Slovenia were fairly good value for the draw. It was a bit of a lucky goal, the deflection. But I thought Slovenia were fairly deserving of a point in the end, without being brilliant. Serbia puffed and puffed a lot against England. I never really thought they were going to score. Pickford's tipped that one over near the end, but even that was fairly standard, straight at him. Both teams need a win. This is the angle I like here, Baz. Is obviously Serbia now sitting on no points. Slovenia have 1 point, but have England to come. So both teams know this is it. If they draw this game, this could be a world of shit. So it's going to be open. The over 2.5 again, Baz. I just think both teams have to go for it. It's folly that both teams will sit and try and pick up a point or try and nick a 1-0. And certainly that's not how this tournament. No one's played that way in this tournament. Over 2.5 is even money, Baz. It's a nice price.
Yeah, I don't mind that. My starting point, yeah, I just think Slovenia are being overlooked a bit in this group. I thought they were too big a price against Denmark. Took them in a double chance. And I think very similar here. Similar sort of price. I just don't think there's much at all between the three sides. If you put England to one side, there's not much between Denmark, Serbia, Slovenia at all. And you're looking at almost 4-1 for Slovenia. I think it's a big price and it opens up the double chance again. They've not lost a game in the last 7. They've lost only 1 of the last 13, Slovenia. They've got wins over Portugal and the USA. Draw versus Denmark was deserved. They were unfortunate not to have nicked it, really. They looked the stronger team in the second half. And Serbia came through a fairly straightforward group, but finished in behind Hungary. They haven't beaten anyone of note in the last year, other than a win over Sweden, about the best they've got. But they aren't up to much these days. I think Serbia are probably being given a bit too much credit by the bookies for keeping it close against England. As you say, they never really looked like they were going to get back into it. But I think the books have given them a bit too much credit for that. I'm getting evens here for Slovenia or the draw, and I think that's the best side of the bargain. For me, there's nothing between the two teams once again. Slovenia in good form. Don't lose many games. Slovenia, double chance at evens.
Okay, yeah, I like that, Baz. I'd say I wasn't particularly impressed with Serbia. I don't really understand why England let them off the hook. We can talk about England now. Courtney/Patrick has joined us in the chat. Hey, Bacchus family, how you doing? Next is that England game, which is the 5 o'clock game on Thursday, 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Denmark v England. Denmark 5-1. The draw 13-5, +260. England 11-17, -153. I was not impressed by Denmark at all. They got in front, played all like the sort of 20 minutes. The longer the game went on, the worse they got. They really were devoid of ideas. I don't think Højlund's very good, Baz. I think he's shite. In fact, England was really hard to analyse because they were considerably the better team. After 25 minutes, you would have thought they were going to win 3 or 4-0. And then again, I don't know if it's a psychological thing. I don't know if it's something the manager does. But they just weren't able to go and put it to bed. Like I say, I did never think they were not going to not win that game, though. So this is a similar comparison game, I think, in terms of how Serbia will set up to Denmark, the respective level of abilities, the respective level of threats going forward. England are good enough to win by more than one. They were good enough to win by more than one. Oh, Mbappe might be a chance, Baz. Oh, he's put it wide. What a Doyle him. Oh, no. What? He's absolutely shite. He's worse than Rasmus Højlund. So, England they've got enough to win by more than one, is what I'm saying. England on the handicap, 13-7, plus 185. I like the England team total. I think they can score 3 goals. I think we might win 3 or 4-0 here, bud. The team total over 2.5 for England is 11-4, plus 275. And I think I prefer that to the handicap, just at the prices. But I do think England are going to duff them up here, bud.
Yeah, well, I haven't been as bold as that, but I agree with you. I'm still sticking. My prediction at the start was that England would get 9 points from this group, and I still stick with that. I think they will, particularly if they get this win here. I do think might need to be a bit better here. I don't know. Denmark might get on the score sheet. I think Denmark might pose a bit more of a threat going forward than Serbia did. But I'm banking on England just growing into the tournament a bit and getting a bit stronger as they go. It's a pick not supported by what we've seen in the last couple of games, but like you, it's just a bit of faith in sort of England's attacking targets being able to get a bit more out of things. So I've gone for England to score 2 or more. You're getting nearly even money. It's 5-6. And I just think it's a bit better than backing England to win at 13-20. So the pick for me, England, is England team total over 1.5 at 5-6, minus 120.
That sounds to me like an England goals ladder, Baz. That's what's going on there. I'll tell you what, this game is far from over. Austria-France. Austria pressing now. Mbappe should have put that to bed. Final game we're going to look at tonight is Spain against Italy. This is the Thursday night game. We might do a live watch-along or something to this, Baz, after the England match to make our picks for the weekend. Spain v Italy, 8 o'clock on Thursday. Spain 15-13, plus 115. The draw's 9-4, plus 225. Italy 13-5, plus 260, Barry.
Yeah, so I did catch a bit of the Spain v Croatia game at the weekend, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Really, Spain were flying at the start, but Croatia really unlucky not to have at least got on the score sheet. It was an entertaining game, but despite the 3-0 result, Croatia had more shots on goal and a higher XG than Spain. Obviously, that's skewed a little bit the XG by the fact they had a penalty miss, which I would imagine counts for about 0.7. But yeah, I'm sure Croatia's XG was over 2.5, despite the fact they didn't get on the score sheet. I do think, though, the books have probably got this about right. Spain, the win over Croatia definitely carries a bit more weight than Italy's win over Albania did. So Spain as favourites, I'm fine with. But I just think what I saw in the 2 games between these sides, goals could be the way to go. Spain games have been full of goals generally. They've scored 3 or more in 6 of their last 7 games. And I think in this one, they haven't got off to a winning start. The sort of pressure's off a little bit, and it might be a bit more open as a result. The 2 played each other in the Nations League last year, 2-1 after 20 minutes, that was. Finished 2-1, but after 20 minutes. So you'd have cashed your over 2.5 nice and early. But for me, it's a nice price, plus money, 11-10 for over 2.5 goals. I do like the Spain team total. I think Spain can get at least a couple of them. 6-5 for Spain over 1.5 if you want to go that way. But my pick, Spain v Italy, will be the over 2.5 goals at 11-10 plus 110.
That Spain game was the first time in 53 internationals that they didn't have over 50% possession. Croatia had more of the ball in that. I totally agree with you, Baz. That's my pick, the over 2.5. It's a team right to finish. It's a team right from Andy, Courtney and Patrick have got the same. So it looks like everyone's on the same lines here. Both games looked like, obviously both had 3 goals, but both looked like they were full of goals as well. And I'm not sure Spain defended particularly well. Croatia had chances, lots of chances. I don't know, Michael Oliver didn't send off that Spanish fella. I'm sure that's the rules there. And he ignored the keeper being off his line, but was happy to give the encroachment. It was all a little bit weird. But I think over 2.5 is too big. It's a trend. The games have been attacking, and both of these sides look like they're fully capable of playing over 2.5 through the entire tournament, Baz. So I'll join you and everybody else. We'll take over 2.5 in Spain versus Italy at 11-10 plus 110. Baz, I did not waste either my time or anybody else's time picking an accumulator or a score. Oh, actually, fucking goal scorer. This was my final bit of horrific luck. We went route one, didn't we, and picked Harry Kane. And then the goalkeeper makes the save of the tournament as it thuds off the crossbar in the second half. Honestly, furious. So I didn't bother, Baz. I'll let you do it. What you got?
I've got a goal scorer. I've got Morata anytime at 2-1. Was the scorer I pick for me. My underdog is the same as it was last time. It didn't hit last time, but it's Slovenia again. 15-4 Slovenia to beat Serbia. I like the price. Definitely a bit of value there. And I've got an ACCA. My ACCA's still winning, Malcolm. If France hold on tonight, my 5-1 ACCA from the first round of games that we covered is a winner at 5-1. So hanging on in there. But I'm going to finish with a team total ACCA. I've got Portugal, Croatia, and Switzerland over 1.5 goals at 9-2. I'm doubting myself now as to why I've put Croatia in there. I'm sure I've done that wrong because I've took the under 2.5 in the game. Croatia are going to have to win 2-0. The ACCA, Portugal, Croatia, Switzerland over 1.5 team total at 9-2.
Okay, that's it. Don't doubt yourself, Baz. You're all right. You can get the 2-0. Right, okay. I think we're done. Probably Thursday night, Barry, for the next edition. I'm away at the weekend. I'm in Worcester.
Yeah,
playing
football.
football.
Good for me. So what have we covered? We've covered up to Thursday now, haven't we? So yeah, we'll start with Friday's games. I've still got one little tale to tell you from the weekend.
Oh, how are you? Let's have it.
So we had a Saturday night out. Me and missus, a few glasses of wine, a few beers, cocktails. All got quite drunken and messy by the end of it. Must have finished at about 2:30. Kebab shop, as you do. And then we looked at Google Maps for our way back to the hotel, and it was a 7-minute walk. Or there was some of them e-scooters nearby. So Helen's suggestion was, well, why don't we get an e-scooter? That'll be quicker than a 7-minute walk. So completely pissed up, and probably completely illegal.
I would fucking love to see you on an e-scooter.
We
Barry. I would pay good money. You should have live streamed this.
You would have loved that. There's probably video evidence of me face planting the ground off the scooter. But so yeah, we went on Uber and got one of the scooters. We had no idea where we were going. So the 7-minute walk.
Sorry, one between you or one each?
No, one each. Yeah, we had one each.
All right. Oh, I think you didn't go tandem. That would have been great.
That would have been ridiculous. I wouldn't have moved. Anyway, we're scooting along the paths and through the parks and everything, completely in the wrong direction. So we scooted for about 10 minutes. And then our check stops, have a look at the map, realize we've gone completely opposite direction. So we turn the opposite way and go back again. It ended up taking us about 25 minutes on the scooters rather than the 7-minute walk it would have been. And then I was good. I got the hang of it. They're powerful. They're faster than I thought it would be. Right up until the point I got back to the hotel, and I crawled to a stop, like slow, right down. And then at some point, apparently if you slow it down too much, it just cuts out. So it did just cut out, and it just sent me flying over the top of it. So I've literally starfished on the floor, face first, outside the hotel, just laughing away. And then Helen comes up, and is like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm out." I just get up, brush myself down, and off we went. But
yeah, kebab all right.
I would already ate that. I ate that in house. But yeah, there's no way people that drunk should be riding around Poland on e-scooters. But it was quite entertaining.
Last weekend when I was in London for the baseball, one of the lads before the game, he got a notification on his phone, 78 quid charge to some company or other. And he's like, I don't know, who's that? You know, who's one of the kids is spending money, blah, blah, blah. So he Googles whatever it is, the company name, and it was the e-scooters. One of his kids had been to town with a mate on Saturday and then just on Friday and then decided to get an e-scooter back. So I don't know what they've done, where they've been.
Yeah, I think you've got to when you get to the end, you've got to end your journey. And at that point, it calculates how long you've had it for. I think it only cost us about £4, £3 or £4 for 25 minutes of pissing around. I mean, it was probably as much as a taxi would have been. We could have got a taxi for the same price. We were Ubering everywhere all weekend, but yeah, the scooters was bonkers. Ellen obviously enjoyed it because the next night we'd had a few drinks again, and we were literally about 200 yards from the hotel, and she was like,
She wanted another go.
"There's an e-scooter there. I might go get one and just have a little ride around the park." I was like, "God, man, the hotel's just there." She's like, "Oh, I really want to go on it again." She didn't in the end. She couldn't get it to work, but she was determined to have another go.
Oh, brilliant. Good tale, Baz. Right, okay. We've got 25 minutes left to Austria, France, and then I've got the MLB show at 10 o'clock. If anyone wants to come, Callum, come and get your loyalty card stamped, as you always do. Thanks for that, Baz. Hopefully, I'm going to have some winners to report when we get back here on Thursday night. Very possible that I don't, but we'll see. Thanks, everyone, for listening. The chat was lit, as the young people say. Enjoy that. Nice to have Andy on board. I reckon Andy will be a regular as well. Good luck with all your bets. Enjoy the football is the main thing. We'll be back on Thursday. Until then, we will see you down the road. Cheers.